We found ourselves being stressed and depressed, angry and frustrated and annoyed, and we're worried and we're saddened, and we're just having all these negative emotions, especially in this day and age with the quarantine and the COVID mess. So what can we do to make ourselves feel better while navigating this really trying situation and circumstance? Well, I have a quick solution where we will take an inventory of the influences in our life and determine which ones are beneficial or healthy and which ones aren't so healthy and beneficial. And then we're going to get rid of the latter ones and improve the quality of your life and get rid of those negative emotions. So I'm going to explain all of that, break it down for you so that you can realize those benefits in your life today. I'm asking you to please subscribe. I'm putting out 2 videos a week now. One is a transformative video on Thursdays where I get into something like this to help your life, to increase the quality of your life and to help you find some peace, some purpose, and some joy. And then on Mondays, I'm doing a quick inspirational video, just something to add some benefit to your life, to inspire you to seek the beauty and the happiness in your life. So please subscribe if you have not already. Hit the notifications button so you know when I am releasing new stuff. And of course, give me a thumbs up if you think I've deserved it on this video, and please ask away some questions in the comments section. So let's get you on your way to get rid of those negative influences. Hi there, my name is JhN, and after suffering a tremendously difficult personal loss, I quit life as I knew it and began traveling the world, delighting in new and thrilling cultures and helping along the way where I could. Through endless hours of meditation, poring over hundreds of books, and delving into the depths of my own mind, I finally discovered what I've been looking for: peace, purpose, and joy. I'm here to share what I've learned so that you too can discover all that I've come to know. So let's get to it and have a bit of fun along the way. So how do we get rid of, or at least lessen, all those negative influences so that we are existing in all the positive and the beauty in our life? Well, we need to take an inventory of our life, because I guarantee you, when you look up and take an inventory of all the great things in your life, you're going to see you're pretty blessed, and then you're going to feel grateful for this. Because whatever we're looking at, what we don't have, we're always going to be in want, we're always going to be suffering and in the desire of that stuff, which doesn't make us feel good. So right now we need to feel good about what we have. So what we're going to do is, I like to encourage people to write down all the things they're really, really happy and grateful for in their life. Their children, their job. Even though it may not be the perfect job, they have an income. Do they have a roof over their head? Do they have running water? Do you have a fridge full of food? There's all these things that you have that a big percentage of the population of the world does not have. And so when you look at all this, you stack it up all together, it's very illuminating and it's humbling. And you're like, wow, I actually really have a lot of tremendous stuff, and I am grateful for that. And that right there anchors you into gratitude and into positivity. So it doesn't matter about all the negative influences, you just did something small and immediate to anchor yourself into gratitude and positivity. After we've humbled ourselves with all the blessings in our life, we need to sift through the different segments of our life and analyze if we've got negative or positive influences affecting us. So those different segments are going to be your work, your food and like what you eat, your physical activity, if you're creating stuff in life, other people around you, and then you've got media and social media. So those kinds of media, even like books and entertainment and such. So you're kind of look around and in your life, separate the different aspects of it and then determine, well, am I having positive or negative influences for that particular segment? One of the very first things we can control is what we eat and how we feel physically. So I used to own a health and wellness business, and the first thing we would tell people is that you're gonna go assess whether you have junk food or healthy food in your pantry and your fridge. If you have a bunch of junk food, you get rid of it. But you have to replace it with something. You can't have an empty fridge. You can't have an empty pantry. It's the same thing with the influences in your life. If you have a bunch of negative influences and you get rid of those, it's gonna be crickets and you're gonna get bored, and then you're gonna revert back to those unhealthy negative influences. So you need to replace them. We need to crowd that stuff out. So if we're pulling all that junk food out of our pantry and our fridge, what are we gonna do? we're gonna put a bunch of healthy food in there in replacement of that so that we have something to eat, because our bodies need something. Our minds need influence. It needs something to gnaw on and to absorb and be entertained. So we're going to fill our lives with abundant, healthy influences. So first things first, if you're not working out and you feel yourself sluggish and all the effects of that, then you need to input that healthy influence of keeping active, getting the rest, and eating a really good, balanced, healthy diet. The other segments are a little bit more tricky. So like the media, the entertainment, people, work, you're going to assess if you're having healthy or unhealthy influences in those different segments based upon your life or pressure put on your life. And you're going to determine this if they're healthy or not based upon your emotions. So basically, if you're having a negative emotional reaction to an influence or an energy in your life, you know that that's a negative or toxic energy. So if you got Betsy at work who's constantly complaining and leaves, you leave a conversation with her feeling less than upset and frustrated and annoyed, you know that's a negative influence. But you have to work with her at work. So we're gonna touch upon what you can do to help balance that. But there are segments in our life that we actually have a tremendous amount of control. What we can do, for example, is if we watch a ton of media, well, we have the choice to whether or not to watch that media or not. We can turn it off. But again, we don't want crickets, so we have to put something beneficial in there. When we turn on the news, these days especially, it's not a lot of positivity out there. We all know that. There's so much stuff that's being highlighted that is not wonderful and positive and beautiful in our life. So we can turn that media off for a little bit. We can know what the weather is and what the traffic and a few world events, but if we're watching it for several hours a day, we're going to feel very, very upset and depressed and sad. So we have to put positive influence there. So you're gonna gauge yourself. When I watch the media, do I feel fulfilled? Do I feel positive? Do I feel happy? Or do I feel negative? Do I feel sad and depressed and anxious and stressed out? Because if you do, that's how you gauge yourself and gauge that influence in on your life. And then you go, okay, I'm feeling really depressed and angry about watching the media when I'm done watching it, the news. So I need to minimize that. I'm gonna turn that down and I'm gonna do something else instead, like reading a book or creating poetry or doing a painting or writing a music or a song or a screenplay. You're gonna do creative stuff to make you feel good, playing games with your children or your spouse or your loved one or your friends. You're gonna go outside for walks, take in nature. So there's all these healthy influences that you can do to replace that negative one. But the first thing you need to do is check what influences are making you feel upset, negatively, emotional, and worried and stressed and whatnot. So when you gauge that stuff, you know where to place your investment and you know where you need to get rid of that stuff and put in some positivity. So our emotions are an alert, an alarm system. Like if you're about to cross the street and you hear an ambulance and you don't know where it's coming from, you stop and you gauge, okay, wait, I have to figure out where that is before I cross the street because I don't want to put myself in danger. It's the same thing with negative emotions. So if you're like, wait, I feel just like tension and I feel like anxious and a little frustrated and a little angry. Why is that? Well, I just got off of Facebook or Instagram or whatever and this friend was talking about this and this friend's super opinionated and this one's super toxic. You're like, okay, wait. So I exposed myself to this influence of social media and now I'm feeling stressed and angry and frustrated. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to connect the dots there and see that that is not a positive influence. So I need to decrease that, turn down the volume, the exposure to social media. And I'm going to put my phone away and get off social media and do something that is rewarding, that makes me feel the opposite of that. Something that makes me feel fulfilled, creative, happy, joyful, and whatnot. So the things that make you feel good. But when you gauge something, you're going to gauge it by your emotional reaction. So if you have a neighbor that you run into on a regular basis and they always complain and everything, you know to quick step away from them, walk, wish them a great day, but to limit your influence and your exchange, your exposure to that neighbor. So if there's entertainment, like if there's a TV show you're just super addicted to, but you feel really judgmental through the entire episode, where you're constantly judging this person for that and this person for that, and then you feel just less than afterwards, Is it adding that much benefit to your life? No, it's actually having a ripple effect where that negativity is rippling out into the rest of your life and different variables and aspects of your life and making it worse, making it toxic and negative. So you check yourself. Yeah, I may like this show, it's entertaining, but there's a lot of other entertaining shows out there where I don't feel less than after watching them. So now that I know that I feel less than, I'm being judgmental and superficial after that show, I'm just not gonna watch it anymore. There's other shows I can watch where I'm gonna gain from, or books that I can read, or podcasts I can listen to, or YouTube videos I can watch to feel better about myself and to insert my life with positivity and with growth and love and compassion and kindness. And that's what I need, because these negative influences are just manipulating my life and I can't have them anymore. So there are segments of our life which we don't have that much control in the immediate instant in that certain day. Like we can turn off Facebook and watch a different show, but we can't stop going to work or stop hanging around with our spouse who's super toxic. We have to encourage them to be better and try to make ourselves better in those situations. So I have another video about having relationships with toxic people that'll really help you set your mindset into one of positivity, so that when you go into a situation such as work where you have some toxic or negative people there, you are secured and anchored in positivity and you're not letting their energy influence your own. So you've kind of put up this perimeter, this force field of compassion and empathy and love, and you're residing safely and securely in that. And you're gonna go about your workday and you're gonna do all the things you're gonna do, and you're still gonna reside in that compassion and patience and love. So that video again is linked above and in the comment section to help you out in those situations we can't just, give up on. But if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm not gonna leave you high and dry like that and just go let you watch another video. I'm gonna give you a quick tip of what to do before you enter that kind of toxic or negative atmosphere situation. Say if you're driving to work, you're gonna take a minute in your car and you're just going to kind of give yourself this cheerleading, emotionally encouraging kind of self-talk and speech. So you're gonna sit there and take a few deep breaths in and out and just prepare yourself. And out loud or in your mind, you're going to state this stuff. I am positive. I am staying anchored in compassion, in empathy, in patience, and in love. I am not going to allow the negative energy of others affect me. I have a force field around myself, and I'm gonna go into this situation and be the best version of myself. And no matter what they throw at me, I am secured and safe in my own little bubble of positivity, and I'm actually going to affect them in a positive way. I'm going to help diminish and lessen their negativity by my presence of positivity. I am compassion, I am empathy, I am love, I am patience, and nothing is getting me off that foundation. Nothing is taking me outside of my force field in which I reside. And I'm gonna have a beautiful day. I'm gonna be the best version of myself. I'm gonna learn and gain from this experience and be better off from it. Thank you for the blessings that I have received from this situation, from this experience, because it is adding to my life. So I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna make the most of it, and I am successful and prosperous. And you take a big deep breath, you inhale, and then you get yourself ready, but you're gonna feel jacked up and ready and prepared to go enter that situation, and nobody's gonna get you off your game. And you do that time and time and time again, and you're gonna see that negative influence will not have nearly as much influence on you any longer. And some people figure out by doing this exercise and kind of looking about their life and taking that inventory, they happen to be the negative or toxic influence in other people's lives or their own. That's perfectly normal. That's excellent that you can discover that, because then that is the time and the variable for you to change. It's the catalyst for you to grow. So you are just in a bad space if you're the negative or toxic person. That's cool, that's fine, because now you know that, and now you can take that and you can grow from it by encouraging yourself, by adding a lot more positivity, by meditating, by keeping healthy and physically fit, by eating good foods, getting proper rest, but also reading self-help books and doing good things like volunteering, which is a great, powerful way to put a positive influence into your life, helping others. So if you find out that you're the negative one, that's okay. Just be like, okay, I've figured that out. Now I'm changing and I'm never looking back. And I'm going to do everything I can to secure myself, establish myself in positivity. And people will see, watch, and learn from me turning my life around. And you're going to do it by encouraging yourself to be mindful and compassionate and present and all these healthy little things that you're incorporating in your life. So those positive influences that I'm talking about to replace are those creative ones. Creation is the antithesis of death and war. So you're gonna create. If you like painting or sculpting or doing clay work or any gardening or anything like that, make sure you make it a priority in your life. Writing songs again, making YouTube videos, helping others too is a tremendous positive influence that you're putting into the world. And you may be like, well, I don't know anything about anything, I can't help people. You are an expert at something. If it is how to hold a hammer correctly, there's a billion people out there who don't know how to do it. So you can teach them. You can have a PDF or a book or YouTube videos and encourage people to learn from you because you know how to do something and you're changing the world for the better. You're creating love and compassion and kindness and wisdom, and you're ushering that, you're pushing that out into the world. So it's a super beneficial and positive way for you to feel better about yourself and encourage and ramp up that positivity in your life. So last thing too is you can reach out to loved ones. There's people in your life that you haven't talked to and they need to hear something. So reaching out, giving somebody a compliment, paying them a compliment at the grocery store while you're waiting for mail or wherever you happen to be is a really nice encouragement. You're helping to spread beauty and love in the world. So to gauge again and to rehash, we want to assess our lives, and we're going to take everything that we have that's a blessing and we're going to write it down and say, hey, I'm so blessed to have this. We're establishing and securing ourselves in positivity, and then we're going to feel really humbled and really grateful. And then the things where we're noticing that influence us in a negative way, by having negative emotions of anger and resentment and depression and sadness and stress, anxiety and guilt, frustration and anger and annoyance and impatience, and on and on and on and on. If we experience those negative emotions, we know that's where to look what caused that negative emotion. And I have a whole nother video that's super helpful about expectations and how to look at and perceive your life to free you of anger and frustration and impatience. So link is hovering above my head and in the comments section. But we're going to want to fill our lives with abundance of positive, healthy influences. Once we discover which ones are causing us to be less than, we're going to minimize those, turning off the social media, watching less news, staying around positive people and keeping our distance from negative ones, and really ushering in and putting on a lot of positive influences in nature and being outside and reading and meditating. All this stuff, make sure to make it a priority in your life, and you will never look back. It's going to help boost your growth and your desires and your pursuits, and you're just going to feel much better about yourself. So it's a really efficient way, and I guarantee you can make a big difference just this week. And speaking of making a big difference, if you guys can do something unexpectedly kind for another person, it could be a complete stranger or a loved one, because it's sure to make their day, and it's probably going to make your day as well. So thank you guys so very much. I wish you nothing but success out there. Be well, go create, love, be compassionate, be kind, and have some fun too. Thanks guys, have a great week.